Howdy friends, Fly Fish Club friends. Lindsay here, doing a little fly tying tutorial today. You can see right here we've got the Jigged streamer, and this is in my top 10 all around flies. And in the winter, it's probably my number 1 or number 2 fly. So this is one that's already finished. It's got a silver bead on it. It's got polar chenille and marabou on the tail, and basically 3 materials, which is what we like. Call it a guide fly, right? So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a jig hook. And the jig hook, I use Hannock 400s or the Fulling Mill 5045 jig hook. I'm really starting to like those. You can see that's a number 8. This right here is a number 10 in the Hannock 400. And because it's a jig hook, the bead that you're going to have is going to be slotted, right? By the way, I learned this fly from Lance Egan, who told me he learned it from Pat Weiss. Anyway, it was 3 years ago, I think, was when I first tied this fly. And I remember I went out, the day I tied it, I went out on one of my favorite holes, super slow. We call it the fly fisherman's hole. And I caught 16 fish in about, probably about an hour. And I thought, this is the best thing ever. And I was bragging to everybody about it. Went back there the next week and I couldn't catch one. And that's how it goes, right? But anyway, I love this fly. So we've got the polar chenille in a medium. And this is black. This is my favorite color. But I tie them also in a, this is gold. This one's white. This one is copper. This one's olive. And this one is red. And I've found that the black and the gold are the best. So we're going to tie the black today. Remember, it's a it's a medium. Okay, so as far as the thread, I usually tie with a 140 denier on the 10. And when I tie the 8, I tie with a 210. And I like a little bit of color, so it has kind of a hot spot on the head when you're done. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. Initially, I started out with wire, but I don't think it makes much difference. I did a test to see by adding wire how much difference it made, and it didn't make a whole lot in the weight. The weight is, the critical thing is the tungsten bead. And so that's a 4 millimeter tungsten bead. And we're gonna take this thread to the back end and tie our tail in. Okay, so for tail, we're basically going with marabou. Where are we at here? So I like the Fish Hunter marabou. This is in the UV. Okay, so whether it's, I like the tan tail with some of the lighter colors, but I go with the black on the darker colors. So anyway, we make this tail a little extra long. I like to get it wet so I can handle it a little bit better. So we're going to tie that in about roughly about 2 times the length. We'll get that started right on top. Cut that off. A lot of times I like to keep it a little bit bigger, just so it's more even, the body. Whoops. All the way up. Okay, and so when you come down at the back and you tie the tail down, that'll keep it from fouling as you tie the tail down a little bit, okay? And we'll just kind of make that overall body length. I cut that off a little short there, but that's all right. I'll just have to build it up a little bit here. So we want the overall body to be about the same. All right, so now we come back, we take our polar chenille and tie that on here in the back. Just kind of a easy wrap like that. And we'll turn that off. Okay, good. All right, so once that's hooked in, go ahead and work our way forward again. Get our thread right up to the front. And you can wrap this by hand, or you can use your bobbin cradle. You want those wraps touching. And you can preen those back as you go if you want or not. I'm not a really super picky tyer that way. I kind of like things scraggly looking and leggy, so to speak, right? Okay, now as you get there at the top, I tie a few extra wraps so when I don't have the wire in there anymore, it kind of locks that bead in better. You just trim that off. Now at this point, I'll actually pull it back a little bit though, and I'm going to work this up so you get a little bit of color showing, kind of a hot spot, so to speak. And let's do a few whip finishes on that. Call it good. I usually do 3. I take my super glue. Just put a little bit on there. Make it easy to finish it off that way. And away you go. Okay. Trim that off. Your thread. There you have it. That's a pretty good looking fly. And as far as the red collar, you can make that as big or as small as you want. Okay. You fluff that out and away you go. That's a good looking fly. And like I said, so you can do that without a collar. You can do it with a 6.5 or a 4.6 millimeter bead. So normally I'm fishing this in almost frog water, dead, very small current. If I get a little bit more current, I'll go to this 5.6 millimeter bead just because I want to be on the bottom and fish it really slow and deep. So there you have it, the jig streamer, and good luck this winter.